Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Nikita, for starting the recording. Okay, so thank you and welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you guys in our first session, and a very good morning to all of you guys who are in India, and a very good evening to all of you guys who are in US. Yeah, so let's start. Am I audible to all of you guys? Can you confirm in the chat box? Yeah, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for your confirmation. So let us begin. So today basically we are going to start with sourcing project. Now, generally what happens is like whenever I start with sourcing project, what happens is like majority of the Ariba consultant, they will come to me and they will say, Are Manoj, whenever we are talking about template, right? We are having sourcing project template, different sourcing project template, right? So let's talk about that. Then I will say, hold on. The thing is like, have you ever seen how basically architectures will basically design the building and then build the building? Have you seen anywhere where the building is happening first, designing is happening second? All of you will basically say, Manoj, have you gone mad? First, we will do the designing, then we will do the building or build it. First design, then build. Exactly. Why? Otherwise, it will be haphazard. Chaos will come in. Somebody will basically build it in a modern way, somebody will likely to build it in an old way. What will happen? The end result is non-usable. Same thing over here. So whenever we go to sourcing project, I'm not talking about just sourcing project, I'm talking about all the um, products of Ariba. Okay, why is it so that you will say that I need to first design it? Because designing and building go hand in hand, and it is always in this sequence. Same thing with each modules of Ariba. So if you basically say, Manoj, I will go to the template, I will do the configuration first, then I will say, when you go to a project, when you go to a project, what you do first? You will immediately start the configuration? No, right? Manoj, we will basically do what? We will basically first gather the requirement, understand the requirement in detail from the client. Once we understand, then we will know what is the scope of the configuration, what we have to do the configuration. Same thing, what architecture does. First, they will understand the requirement of the client who wants to build a building or a home. Once they understand that, then they are going to basically design it, show it to the client. Once they approve it, then the building will happen according to that plan. Same thing also in Ariba. So what happens is like few of the consultant, when they come to our session, they will say, "Hey Manoj, let's go to configuration." Are boss, anybody can learn the configuration guidebooks. Anybody can study that thing, and they'll say, "Oh, we can do this task. We can do this condition in template configuration." But you will see with that knowledge, when you will go to a project, the first question which your client will ask is, how many templates we are going to use? Determine that. Huh? Are that we have never understood. Why you have not understood? Because we haven't done the designing. That is why I said to all of you guys in our demo session that when you're coming to Ariba, Ariba is very different. Cloud solutions are very different from on-premise solution. So first and foremost thing, you have to understand that thing. So to understand the configuration, first you have to understand the process. Now in process, we will basically talk about generally how the requirement comes. Now first and foremost thing is basically we are going to talk about that in template you can do the configuration. Like, okay, which option the functional consultant will configure, which option they will give it to the end user. Yes, that kind of option is there in sourcing project templates. So now, as a functional consultant, how will you determine that I will configure this? The other configuration options I will basically pass on to the end user. How will you determine that? When you go to the business rule configuration in sourcing project template, this is the second question which you're going to encounter. That okay, which business rule you as a functional consultant will configure and which you will pass on to the end user. Yes, that's very important. Again, if we go directly to the configuration, this kind of issues will be there, and these are the things which you will see in the project. That is why I said to all of you guys in our first session that our task in these training sessions are to share the project experience which I'm having, so that when you go to a project, whenever clients give you requirement, you will say, oh, I know about it. Yes, Manoj showed us this business scenario with 3 parameters. Now client is asking me to do the configuration based on 4 parameters. Yes, I will add one more parameter, but I know how to do this configuration, how to build up the solution. That is the goal. So that is why first and foremost thing we are going to understand the process. But remember, this is not an end user process. No, we are going to basically see the best practices which we use in this sourcing project process. Now, before I go to the screen and I basically show you how to create a sourcing project and all those stuff, can any of you guys remember the definition of sourcing which we used in our demo session? What do you mean by sourcing? In one sentence, somebody asks you, how would you define it? That we have basically discussed in our demo session. You can share your views in the chat box, guys. Tendering process, correct. RFP process, correct. But I have given a very small definition, of sourcing. Identify the supplier, correct. Find the best source of supply, exactly correct. What we are doing, in that particular thing, we are, finding out the source of supply. That's it, nothing else. So sourcing is what? Okay, very correct. Now, yes, this is another thing. Okay, in Ariba, we can have catalog item as well as non-catalog item, right? We understood that concept. So in sourcing, which type of item we can use? Catalog item or non-catalog item? Share your views, guys, in the chat box. Now, majority of you guys are basically saying non-catalog items. Some of you guys are saying both. That is why, see, for majority of you guys, yes, you are correct. See, even when you give a wrong answer, please don't feel, Are Manoj, I have given wrong answer. No, I did not ask for your answer. I did ask for your views. And why I'm asking the views? This is very, very unconventional. Lot of participants ask me, Manoj, you're very unconventional. Yes. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to recall our demo session. I said to all of you guys, demo session is free. It does not mean it does not have value. It has a lot of value. It is stepping stone. Okay, just a moment. You can't see my notepad. Okay, let me just unshare my screen and share it once more. Are you able to see my screen now, guys? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your confirmation. Now, why I was asking these views? What is sourcing? Sourcing is applicable for which catalog item or non-catalog item? Because in our demo session, what I have told that sourcing is part of upstream, and in upstream database is different, downstream database is different. So in upstream you will have only non-catalog item. In downstream you will have catalog item. Oh, so that means Manoj, since sourcing is part of upstream, we can do the sourcing only for non-catalog item. Exactly. This is the definition of sourcing. So why we recall this thing? Because this is very, very important that you should understand that in upstream we cannot have catalog item, only non-catalog item. Yeah, and please don't feel, hey Manoj, if I share my views, if it is wrong, very good. Think of it very good. Think of it like an opportunity. An opportunity to correct your views. Why? Because here, if you correct your views, nothing will happen. But in the project, if you make that mistake, there it will lead to escalation. I'm there to help you out. So please don't, think that, the views which I may write in the chat box, it might be wrong. Nothing will happen. Even if it is wrong, you can get it rectified. So you will know, you will understand that, okay, I have to give a little bit more hard work on this thing. Exactly. But what will happen then? When you will go to the project, then there you will not have escalations. That is the goal. Exactly. And please don't think that Manoj is so knowledgeable. I have made worse mistake than all of you guys. Yeah. Yeah. I still make mistakes. Still make mistakes. Every day is a learning for me, even now also. So please don't think like that. Okay. So this is the definition of sourcing. Now I discussed RFI, RFP. What does this means? Request for info or information. Guys, those of you who are not able to see it properly, fully maximize this go to training screen. Yeah, you will see at the top right hand side, there is a option to maximize it. I have already maximized my screen, and if you see the font which I'm using is 24. It's quite big. Yeah, so please maximize. You would be able to see it very properly. Exactly correct. Request for information. And this is request for proposal. Okay, RFI and RFP. Now, generally, if you would not have known, you would not have known that we will do sourcing only for non-catalog item. Whenever I will ask any Ariba consultant, they don't have this information that sourcing is done for non-catalog item. I will ask them, okay, when you will do RFI, when you will do RFP. RFP means, Are Manoj, request for information. When we will have it? When we are buying for something new. Immediately that Ariba consultant will say, this is for non-catalog item. Okay, very good. Acha, when you will do RFP? RFP means we have bought this thing before. So like I will only ask the price. So this is catalog item. They will say. Majority of the Ariba consultant will say like this. But all of you guys understand this is a wrong statement. This is a wrong statement. Why? Because the upstream database will not support catalog item. So how will you have a RFP with catalog item? That is not present. Now, so congratulations, you have understood the issue now. Exactly. So majority of the Ariba consultants, they won't understand the issue. Now the issue is, for RFI you are having non-catalog item, for RFP you are having non-catalog item, and client will ask you when to do RFI, when to do RFP. Maximum of this Ariba consultant who don't know, they will say RFI non-catalog item, RFP catalog item. Okay, client will be happy. But when they will go to the testing phase, there what will happen? Escalation. Where is catalog item? I cannot find catalog item. Huh? Then they, the Ariba consultant will write a mail to SAP. SAP will say catalog item is not present in upstream database. Huh? At that point of time, there will be issues. But that first trouble, we skipped it. Why? Because understand that RFI, RFP both will be for non-catalog item. Now the next trouble which will come over here is, they will immediately ask you, Are Manoj, when RFI, when RFP? Now this is a question which is very, very important for all of you guys to understand. Why? Because you will see that when you go to a project, your client will say, Are Manoj, RFI will take at least 1 month. RFP might take 1.5 months. So every time I want to do some sourcing, 2 months to 3 months it will take. So that cannot be the general timelines for a sourcing project, right? So you tell me when to segregate, how to segregate RFI versus RFP. Now the issue is both of them are non-catalog item. Now, suppose any of you guys are basically traveling in ship, Andaman cruise we will go, or Malaysia cruise, or whatever may be the thing, right? You will go in a ship, stay in that ship for few days, enjoy your vacation. So when you go into the ocean or in the sea, how will you measure it? Now, many of us who have not went over there will say kilometers, kilometers. But in actually, in the ship, and every measurement is done based on NKM or NM, nautical mile. That nautical mile is not equal to 1 mile. It's very different. Why? Because it's a nomenclature which is to be used in the sea. So the normal mile which we talk about, this is nomenclature which we will use on land. So that means you need to understand non-catalog item from whom? Of course, from the Ariba perspective. Now, you have to ask yourself this question. For whom you are implementing Ariba? Client. What is the client perspective? Because ultimately, you should remember, the client perspective will be on top of what? Ariba perspective. So you have to be very, very clear on this part. So let's take some example. Okay, rather than just going to theoretical, let's go into example. So today we are having Dell XPS now. Let me ask all of you guys, these are the 3 items which you can see. What from a client perspective, what are they? Catalog item, non-catalog item, which one? Okay, let's talk about the first line item. Dell XPS model 2022. Is this a catalog item or a non-catalog item? From client perspective, I'm not talking about Ariba perspective. From a client perspective, share your views, guys. The majority of you guys are basically saying catalogs. Anybody who want to say non-catalog? Okay, few of you guys are basically saying non-catalog also. So let us understand that. I will go to a owner, business owner, and then I will ask, "Hey, boss, Dell XPS model 2022." Then he will say, "Yes, yes, Manoj." The thing is, just a moment. This XPS model, it is present with us from 2010. Okay, so every year, what you will do? So every year we will release a new model of Dell XPS. Okay, so from the business owner perspective, they are saying that this model is not new. This model is old. What we are doing, we are bringing a new iteration every year. Then I will ask, okay, catalog item or non-catalog item? They will say almost like catalog item. Then I will ask, Are, but for the first time you are going to do this procurement. And they will say, Are, this Dell XPS model 2021 versus Dell XPS model 2022, if you do, what 2021 was a laptop and 2022 what it became? It became a car. Then I will say no. Then he will say, Are, it is laptop, right? What is happening is like we are uh, getting a new processor, okay, and we are giving backlit keyboard extra 2022. But does it matter? Why? Because they are performing the same functionality. So whether it's 2021, whether it's 2022, this particular model is what? Is a catalog item to us. So client will immediately say, "Arey boss, this is like a catalog item." Now I am not going to say fully catalog item because it might uh, cause confusion in your mind. I will say almost like catalog item. Now what about Dell XPS model 2023? Share your views. So non-catalog item means those items which you have never bought before. You have never procured it before. That is non-catalog item. Catalog item means you have already procured it before. Now you want to procure it again. That's the difference between catalog and non-catalog item. Now, Dell XPS model 2023. Let's say we are in December 2022 and we have started ordering Dell XPS model 2023. Non-catalog or catalog from client perspective. Now, majority of you guys are saying non-catalog. Only one of you guys are saying catalog. Again, I will go to the business users, and they will. We will ask, "Are newer model, newer model, 2023." Oh, so Manoj, we are thinking about giving a OLED screen. Oh, OLED screen. That's good. That's good. Like I will enjoy working in this Dell XPS 2023 model. Why? Because you're giving OLED screen. OLED screen is very good for working as well as for watching videos. It's a pleasure. Very good. But catalog or non-catalog? Then again he will say, is this a car? This is a laptop. What we are doing? In 2023, we are bringing a new laptop. But is this a new product line? Immediately, the business users will say, no, this is from 2011, it is coming. So it's a newer model, a newer iteration, not a new product. It's not a new product. So that means in this case also, your business users are saying, ki, it's a catalog item, almost like catalog item. Now we come to Dell new smartphone X. Dell is saying, Are Manoj, we are happy, to launch a very new product, new smartphone X. We have never done it before. We are producing it, So, please tell your friends to buy this new smartphone. So what is it? Catalog or non-catalog? Now here all of you guys are saying, Ki Manoj, this is non-catalog. Yes, exactly. I will go to the business users and I will ask, is this a catalog or a non-catalog? They will say, it is non-catalog. Why? Then I will ask why. Arey, what do you think? I will use the motherboard from laptop. I will use the battery from laptop. I will use the camera from laptop. I will use the screen from laptop. No, because that's the form factor we have to consider. So that means your business users will be saying, Manoj, the motherboard, the screen, the battery, the camera, the RAM, everything in phone will be different from laptop. I don't know anything about it. So first and foremost thing, what will happen? Client will immediately say, I want to gather information about this products. Once I gather the information means what? Request for info. Then we will go for request for proposal. So this is non-catalog item. Now, the client perspective. What about Ariba perspective? Ariba will say, boss, Dell XPS model 2022. This I am not able to find any record earlier. 2021 is there, but that's a different item. So this is a non-catalog item. Okay, 2023, I'm not seeing it before. So this is the first time I'm seeing it because the description is not matching 2022 and 2023. So Ariba will say this is also what? Non-catalog item. And by default, new smartphone X, it's by default a non-catalog item. So Ariba will say this is a non-catalog item. Now you understand why this issue happens. So see, I'm not only teaching all of you guys Ariba. That is not just the goal. The goal is to go into a project and try to link the Ariba system with client's requirement. That is our goal. At the end of the day, when you will go to the project, how will you work? How will you get paid? This thing, client perspective versus Ariba perspective, then you will map it. Now you are seeing there is a discrepancy in client perspective versus Ariba perspective. How will you handle it? Because if you can handle this thing, then you can immediately say to your client, Arey boss, in this case RFI, in this case RFP. This is the starting point. So this is an example. But he will say, Manoj, Arey, I might not go into IT company, IT hardware company. There I will not implement. I will implement in oil and gas or pharmaceuticals. So how we will do it, Manoj? Excuse me. So that is where, as a business analyst, functional consultant and business analyst, we have to understand it. Okay, so new product line. It's a new product line altogether. Okay. When you see new product line, you must understand from the client perspective, it is what? It is always a non-catalog item. Why? Because the client does not know anything about this product line. So they will try to gather information first. So from the client perspective, this is always non-catalog item, but old product line might include newer models. So XPS 2022, 2023, then in 24, 2024, then in 25, 2025 will come. But is it a new product line? No, no, it is not a new product line. It's what? It's a new model for the old product line. So immediately your client will say, now you understand that when you will go to any project of Ariba, ask your client, is this a new product line? Yes, then it's a non-catalog item for you. Is this an old product line with newer versions or newer models? Yes, that is catalog item, almost like catalog item. Now your client and you are on the same page, correct? We should not be going ahead with only Ariba's perspective. That is what standard trainer does. Standard trainer will basically teach you normal Ariba. But this perspective, if you take it and in the project you go, there will be issues. Okay. So now you are very, very clear that these two questions I will ask, I will understand. Okay, which is like non-catalog item, which is like catalog item. Now, non-catalog item, of course, in this scenario, you have to begin with RFI. Almost like catalog item, RFP. But these are the definitions of what? Client perspective. From Ariba perspective, we are using non-catalog item. See, now you are understanding that when Ariba is saying ki boss, RFI, RFP, it is falling within sourcing. Sourcing is falling within upstream. So you have to use non-catalog item for both of them. Yes, yes. But if it is a new product line, then only I will go ahead with RFI. If it is an old product line which might include newer models, always RFP. Both of the items, whenever we will use, whether it's RFI or RFP, from Ariba perspective, it is non-catalog item. But from the client perspective, we have defined the process. This is what your client is asking. This would be the main question, main first question when you will go to a project in sourcing, you will basically encounter it. And that's the answer. Now, before I go ahead, how many in a year, how many times do you think your client is going to launch a new product line? Share your views. Percentage. Out of 100% products, every year, how much percentage will be new product line? Again, please don't think, Manoj, if I give, if I tell you 80%, 90% or 100% also, like whatever may be the percentage, even if I'm wrong, nothing will happen. I'm here to rectify it. Now, some of you guys are saying 10%, 15%, 10%, 2%, 50%. Now, remember one thing. Remember one thing. I know because I also think in the same way as you do. Let's talk about this phone maker. Arey Manoj, so many phones. And look at Samsung, Galaxy this, Galaxy that, M32, M52, A51, A52. Arey, what is this? Now, in this case, If I'm talking about this one, how many are new product line? In this example, how many are new product line? Samsung phones, smartphones. Almost none. The only example which I can give is Galaxy Fold. You know that Fold phone which came right from Galaxy. That was a new product lineup. Rest of all these things, Galaxy S, Galaxy M, Galaxy S, A, whatever may be the thing, those are pre-existing product lineup. They are reiterating it with a new version every year. But one new product lineup, I will say Galaxy Flip or Galaxy, that foldable phone was there, right? From the Samsung. I think previous year it was launched. That was a new product line. All of the other are old product line. Because you go to any organization, excuse me, you ask them that new product line when you're coming up with, they will say, huh? New product line? Have you gone mad? Because certain Ariba consultant in front of me will say 70%, 80%. Then client will say, okay, explain it to us. We know about it. We are doing this business for last 20 years. You explain it to us. The thing is like, we should not view it from the viewpoint of what? We should not be viewing this thing not only from the Ariba's perspective, but from the client perspective, neither from the customer perspective. Galaxy M, Galaxy A, Galaxy S, these are different product lineup for whom? For the customer, not from Samsung's point of view. Samsung will say that foldable phone is a new product lineup, but everything else is old product lineup. So that's the point which we need to be focused. You have to be very focused on that part. Okay, so you do understand that will be somewhere around 2 to 3%, not even that also. In majority of the big project, even when we go to this, Procter and Gamble, Unilever, and you will go over there, these are very big organizations. You ask them how many new product lineup, they will say maybe 1% or 2% every year. That is also not fixed. That is also not fixed. And since this is not fixed, what he will do then? So this is basically a very important thing for all of you guys to remember, that it will be not even 1% or 2%. So that is why I was saying to all of you guys that when you're coming to Ariba is very different from ERP. In ERP, in MM, what happens? Everybody customizes each and everything. They customizes each and everything. And once they customizes each and everything, what happens? The process become very bad. But in Ariba, what happens is customizations will be very less. Yes, configuration will be there. Standard, the configuration, we will basically use it. But the understanding of the process are very different. So that is where you have to keep this thing in your mind. Plain and simple. Okay. So that is why, please don't think in MM whenever we will go, we will have RFI first, then RFP. In Ariba, it is not like this. Only 1 to 2% you will use RFI. That means all of you will say 98 or 99 percentage, Manoj, we will basically use RFP, or the starting point will be RFP. Exactly. Now let's go and create a sourcing project. So I will click on create sourcing project. I will go basically,